Hello again, this is Qman with the Patriot Network, and I'm glad to be back again. Now back in December 24th of 2009, I made a simple little video about how the healthcare package actually would affect my business, and got a few comments and got a whole bunch of comments from socialists and communists for really the subject at hand was about how it affects me economically, and I get a whole bunch of things, and I wind up deleting a bunch of nonsense comments and comments just, not so smart. And since you all got mad at me, I decided to make this segment just for the socialists and the communists. So first off, I'd like to address some of the things that was kind of shot at me. One of them is I'm such a hypocrite that when a real socialist steps up to defend his position, I simply delete you. You see, that's the American way. This is a free country, and I have the right to delete your comment. But you don't realize in a socialist communist society, people simply delete you. See, this little keyboard here, there's a little delete button. I use this to delete your comment. In a socialist communist society, they use this thing to delete you, not your comment. Okay, so anyway, so since this one is all about socialists and communists, I'm not going to delete you. All I'm asking is that you be civilized. If you attack me personally, then I'll delete you. But if you attack my ideology and you present me with facts, then let's go and do it. Vietnam is the socialist model. Alright? This is kind of a funny thing because if you look at the per capita income after the communists took over South Vietnam in 1975, the per capita income there after that, shortly after that, is $220 per year. I don't know how you live, but it's going to be pretty tough to live off of $220, some odd changes per year. Now in 1986, the government, the communist government decided to open up the country to foreign investment, and they call it đổi mới, which is translation to renovation of the economy. And what it does is it actually opened up the country to foreign investment so that companies like Nike and who knows who else, Adidas, to come back and open up manufacturing plants in Vietnam. And amazingly, the per capita income went up to $1,024. So you see, capitalism isn't all that bad. If you look at the per capita income of Vietnamese in the United States in 2008, it is nearly $36,000 per year. These are real numbers. I'm giving you real numbers. Look at my left side, real numbers, okay? So your idea that somehow capitalism is evil and full of corruption and full of greed. Now, greed is not synonymous to capitalism. Greed is also applicable to socialism and communism. Recently there was an article that there was hundreds of Chinese executives decided to leave China to go somewhere else. Now my father said something to me when I was very young, and he said to me, Quang, it is extremely shameful to be poor in a rich country, but it's even more shameful to be rich in a poor country. I was 10 years old, I don't know any better, I thought about it for years, and finally one day I was old enough to figure it out. I don't necessarily agree that it is shameful to be poor in a rich country. I am poor. I am barely making a living. But I'm rich because I have all my families and friends and the freedom I have, and I don't have to worry about someone putting an AK-47 on the back of my head and delete me. So in that sense, I feel very rich. But I truly believe that there is something inherently wrong with somebody that's very wealthy in a poor country. Two reasons for you to get there. One, stepping on people. Two, corruption. That's it. So my point is this: socialism and communism is only good for the people that are running the country, for the rich people. But the rest of the population is equally poor, if not poorer than the rest of the world. So I'm going to throw a challenge at you. Name one medical miracle or something that a socialist communist country contributed to society. Name one medication, something scientific that they contributed to society to the betterment of human beings? I don't think you can name one. I can't. But one thing though for sure, you guys have a monopoly on killing people. Okay? Look at Mao Zedong, look at Lenin, look at all those guys. They talk big, but you know, they're really good at inventing gas chambers and so on. I want to address something else, that people in Vietnam only look poor. It just is their culture is different. Now, that is, I can't think of a more insulting way to say something to a group of people. Now, you socialists out there, you want equals for everybody and you want, you know, a wonderful world for everybody, but yet they just look poor because that's their culture. How insulting, right? People look poor because they have no money, they have no ways of bettering themselves. Bettering, is that a word? Anyway, in any event, they don't have the opportunity that you have here in the United States, or the opportunity that I have in the United States. So they look poor because that's the way they are. I'm not even going to address that anymore. So, next comment. You are speaking of ignorance. Have you even read Marx or Lenin? Well, to kind of work on that one, I'm going to turn the camera over to my cousin Wing Wong. Hello, my name is Wing Wong and I'm Mr. Q's cousin. And he asked me to come talk to you about why we don't read Marx and Lenin's book. And so I give you example. Here's an example. Cookbook. And we are Vietnamese, see? Vietnamese cookbook. Now you notice cookbook look really nice with beautiful pictures and recipe wonderful. But you see, cookbooks makes lots of money for people who wrote books like Michel Lenin. So this is cookbook. But when you go in the kitchen and you cook, food sucks. It's because it looks really good, it sounded really good, but you really can't follow it the way, unless you're a chef or the one making or writing this cookbook. It don't work for the rest of us. So that's my, how do you say it, analogy to why we don't read cookbooks. Reason why Marx and Lenin's are like cookbooks is because they want to sell you good stuff, and unfortunately, you're the goose. Glad to be back again. I hope you like that little analogy that Wing Wong did. He's kind of a simple-minded guy, liberal guy, not very bright, but you know, he's still got some common sense left in him. We both learned that human knowledge is through experience. And you can't discount experience, and we both grew up in the same culture. We both grew up in socialist, communist Vietnam, or at least it was socialist by, you know, up to the time of up to 1975. So basically, you know, even a guy like that could figure out that there's something wrong with a socialist mentality. So you know, I hope you like that, and he's out there now doing a global warming protest. Now here's the thing about greed. We created an entire generation of greedy people that are working in Wall Street. Well, you know, to some extent I do agree with you, but who takes care of the educational system in the last 50 years? We are now going away from prayers in school, we're going away from the Pledge of Allegiance, we remove God from the courthouse, we even deny the fact that this country is found on, you know, a Christian value. And so all of that stuff turned to, you know, morals, you know, just out the window. And so now you have a whole bunch of greedy. But you take the greedy people and you put them in a socialist society, he's still going to be a greedy person. It's not going to be any better. So don't blame greed on capitalism. Try to work harder. Try to earn a living. Don't sit back in a nice warm couch in somewhere in South Florida and telling me that we need to revolutionize this country to become a socialist communist country. I think that's all I have for today. It is what it is. Talk to you later.